everyone. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. Any questions, queries can put in the chat box. I will try to answer it as and when we go. But if you have any questions that you want to ask, please feel free to put in the chat box. Okay, so we will start. So basic idea is to help you basically with this session in terms of how and what to go about it. So let's try to understand what is the basic idea of the session and then maybe start. So we do have different series of sessions, so this specifically is for Quant. Okay, the idea is to help you understand the different approaches, shortcut approaches, and slowly build to it. Now what happens in shortcut methods is we come across a shortcut method, we are happy about it, but unfortunately what happens is we tend to forget how to use it, because when the stress comes or when the pressure comes in the exam, we then go back to traditional methods. The only way to go about trying to use better methods is that you keep using it in your questions, etc. So idea of these sessions, and maybe I will have more, is to help you understand those approaches, simple approaches, and maybe if you understand it, you could use it on a regular basis for the different sums. That's what it will help you, right? So the idea is to help you. So we focus on questions and answers. I'll give you questions. You need to try to answer those questions, and then we'll focus on methods, approaches that are required to solve the questions. Okay. So for whom is the session? Anyone who's writing the aptitude examination with mathematics involved in it. So it could be people who are writing CAT, it could be people writing other MBA entrance, it could be people writing IPM, it could be people writing GMAT, etc. Because the approaches are same. I mean, if you look at the shortcut approaches, in different kind of max sums remain same. So it doesn't change. So that means if you have the right approach to solve, that will help you to solve better, faster as far as the exam is concerned. So that means the idea of this is to build that approach. And so I'm not keeping this recording, so you have to attend the whole session to help you with regards to it. So I'll be removing this recording from the YouTube channel. So if you're expecting the recording to be there, it will not be there. Just to listen. This is to ensure discipline for you to sit and attend the session. That if you feel it's important, if you feel it's worthwhile, go ahead with it. That's what is important. My recommendation is, even if you don't understand some part of it, go through it. These are the approaches which will help you to solve a lot of sums at a later period. But understanding the approaches is very important, and that will help you to improve your methods, right? So the session is important basically to help you generate methods. Now what happens, unfortunately, a lot of students end up using a traditional method. So you have a question, because we are so habituated to using formulas, we go back to a normal traditional method and try to solve it. Which, yes, in the class when we solve, we normally use traditional method. But over a period of time, you need to change your habit. If you really want to crack the exam, the idea is to change the habit. The first thing that should come in your mind is, oh, is there a better way or approach to solve the questions? And if you can get a habit of solving those questions, that will help you to solve better, faster in the future, right? So what we'll do is, we will take up a few questions, okay, like this, and look at the approach to solve it. Now this is a theta based question. Normally we have options, but yeah, this question specifically is theta based. Want you to read through it and then try to solve the sum. And then we look at what is the right approach to try to get the answer to it, and how do we get the answer to it, right? So go to the sum, and try to solve it. And the key is, later over a period of time, you should be able to click the sum, immediately saying, okay, this is the approach I should use for the sum, and this is how I'll solve. And the moment you use the right approach, you'll get the answer. For now, my suggestion is, try to put the answer in the chat. Just give me a minute. I think I need to change the setting, because it will be, the video will have a problem. Let me see if I can pull the video down. Not so used to it, but let me just try it out. Yeah. I hope it helps. I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, the question is not fully visible. I understand that. I'm trying to change that. Hope this solves. Yeah, good. So, waiting for some people to answer if possible. No, it will not be a full course of Quant. It will be approaches. Every Wednesday I will have this session from 10:15 onwards. The idea is to help to build approaches. Yeah. So whenever, now the approach out here is whenever you have a variable like this x, the simplest way to go about doing is put the value, simple values to get the answer. Okay. Now number of even factors. Okay. Okay. Number of even factors of a number is equal to number of odd factors. So let's take a simple number which satisfies this. I mean, if I look at it, what value will satisfy? So if you look at 2 will satisfy. 2 has factors 1 and 2. So number of odd factors will be equal to number of even factors. Right? Yeah, if you solve it, you can put the answer in this one is equal to number of odd factors. The sum of all the odd factors, which is 1 in this case, is x% sum of all the even factors, 2 out here. So that means 1 out of 2, which will give you 50%. So answer will be 50. Nothing. I mean, it's a simple. There are so many sums in the CAT exam with variables in it, which can be easily solved with putting the values, and a lot of aptitude examination. They give you variables, you just substitute the values, you'll get the answer. Simplest of values. So in this case, I took 2. Okay, so you get the factors as 1 and 2. So equal number of odd and even factors. That's what is important. Your important factor is that you should satisfy the constraint. And what is the constraint out here? That there should be equal number of odd and even factors. If the equal number of odd and even factors, which means there should be equal number of, here 1 and 2 are equal numbers. So in which case, number of odd factors upon even factors 50%. You can take any other number. Look, I can't take 4. Why I can't take 4? Because number of factors are 1, 2 and 4. There are more even factors than odd factors. I can't take this. Not possible. But I can take 6. If I take 6, number of odd factors are 1 and 3. Number of even factors are 2 and 6. Again, some will be 4, some will be 8. You will get 4 out of 8, which is again 50%. So answer is 50 out here. 50 is what we will get. Right? So if you can understand this approach, that will help you to solve a lot of sums that comes in aptitude examination. Okay, one of the approaches. So we are focusing on approach, how to solve what cases, what approach we solve different kind of sums. Okay, let's take another sum. We'll take a few sums, but the idea is, again I repeat, the idea is to get the approach right. So solve it, try to get the approach right, and then try to figure it out. I'll give you a couple of minutes to solve. Look, one of the most important aspects about cracking the CAT examination or any exam is for you to think. I mean, if you can think through the sums, that will help you better. Therefore, it's always good that you try first on your own, no matter what, and then try to look at the solution. Because directly looking at a solution doesn't benefit you too much, because then your thinking is not done. So, and all the aptitude examinations are based on the thinking process. So it's very important that you develop the process. Every sum to try to think on your own and try to solve, and then maybe you can look at the solutions which are there. Right. So we are looking at another sum. This is a very useful approach which is there and can be used in a lot of sums in time for distance, work, even some other places. Okay. I'm sure some of you will be knowing this approach, but a useful approach. You need to apply this on a more regular basis, and there are a lot of application for this. A good approach is one where you can apply it to different kind of sums or more number of sums. Then it becomes a good approach. If you cannot apply it to number of sums, then it's not a good approach. Right? Any good approach is something which you should be able to apply to a number of sums. If you cannot, you go about it. Oh shit. I think there's some problem with the connection. Let me just check. my mistake. Yeah, my mistake. That's a wrong button. Anyway, we'll start with this sum. The boat started from a point of river and traveled at a certain distance upstream, after which it turned back and turned towards starting point. So it went upstream and then came back to the starting point. So distance is the same in both the cases. Okay, distance is the same in both the cases. If the boat covered the round trip journey in 2 hours, so if you look at the speed they given, the ratio of the speed for upstream and downstream they mentioned. Okay, so net speed upstream was 25% downstream, so 25% of downstream, which means 1:4 ratio. Okay, the ratio of the speed is 1:4, so ratio of the time is 4:1, reverse of it. Remember, more the speed, less will be the time taken because distance is constant. If distance is constant, speed is inversely proportional to time. So if the ratio of the speed is 1:4, the ratio of the time will be 4:1, reverse of it. Okay, if ratio of the speed is 1:4, ratio of time is 4:1. 4 and 1 total is 5. We want difference of their time taken, 3. This 5 stands for 120 minutes. Total time taken is 2 hours, which is 120 minutes, right? 2 hours. So 3 will stand for how much? You can cross multiply 120 into 3 upon 5, which will give you 72. D option. I'll repeat. Distance is the same, so speed is inversely proportional to time. If the ratio of the speed is 1:4, the ratio of time will be 4:1. Okay, more the speed, less the time. So that means 4 plus 1, 5. 5 stands for 120 minutes. Okay, the difference in the time taken is 3. 3 will stand for how much? You can cross multiply. You will get the answer 72 minutes. That's the answer for this. Right. I hope that was clear. Right. You can ask. Yeah. Rangan, you can write the cat again, definitely. You can contact me separately, there's no harm. I'll guide you accordingly. And I think there's no harm in writing the cat again. Some inequality. Normally, inequality sums looks to be stuff, but most of the times the inequality sums are comparatively very easy. In most of the inequality sums, you can use the option. In this, you cannot because they ask A plus B. If they ask A or they can ask B, then you can use the option. But they ask A plus B. Therefore, you can't directly use the options. But yeah, there are approaches. So let's look at what is the approach out here. Right? So whenever you have an inequality sum like this, okay, whenever you have an inequality sum, this is an inequality sum. So convert it to equality and then solve, because the extreme case will be equality. The inequality is that you satisfy within these two range. At the extreme points, they will be equal. At the extreme point, they will be equal. Within those, they will satisfy. So in this case, if I look at the way to calculate A or B is put a equal sign. So I put 7 minus x upon 3 equal to 1. Right? Put an extreme case, put it equal to 1 and now solve. Okay, I'll give you time shell. So 7 minus x upon 3 equal to 1. So you can take two cases. When you open the bracket, it becomes 7 minus x upon 3 equal to plus 1 and 7 minus x upon 3 equal to minus 1. Remember, mod sign means everything inside it becomes positive. So when you take two cases, it can become plus 1 or minus 1. Two possibilities. If you solve this now, you will get 7 minus x equal to 3, or you get x equal to 4. And here 7 minus x equal to minus 3, so you get x equal to 7 plus 3, which is 10. So your a plus b will be 4 plus 10, which will be 14. That will be the answer. So whenever your inequality sign, right, just put equal to and then solve. It's the best way to solve a course. That's one way. Actually, not the best. It's the one way to solve. Second way is using options. Now your approach will obviously change based on how the sum is. So when you and how the approach is. So in this case, the easiest way is to equal on both the sides and then solve. You'll get the answer as 14. Right. Hope it's clear. Looks quite complicated. Its clock sum is basically application of time speed distance. Okay, but yes, ways to solve this. Okay, I'll just give you a few fundamentals of clocks so that you understand the clocks. So when you say a clock, there are 12 hours to a clock. So 12 hours stands for 360 degree. The full circle is 360 degree. So 1 hour is basically 30 degree. Okay, if you look at full 12 hours is 360 degree. So when you take a 1 hour, it becomes 30 degree. That's one fundamental that you need to understand. Right. Also, if you look at in a clock, say when I say from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, okay, when the minute hand has moved 12 hours, hour hand has moved 1 hour. So relatively they have moved 11. So when they move 11, the time passes 12 hours. When the relative distance traveled by the 2 is 11, the time is 12 hours. 60 minutes. Okay, 11 stands for 55 minutes. Remember, 11 stands for 55 minutes. When a relative distance traveled by them is 55 minutes, the actual time is 60 minutes. I'll repeat this again. When the minute hand moves 12 hours in a full circle, the hour hand moves 1 hour. So the relative time that you have taken is 12 minus 1, 11 hours. Or 11, let's say 11 lines. Let me not put hours, let's put 11. So 11 stands for 55 minutes because every 2 points which is travel, it is 5 minutes. So 11 stands for 55 minutes. So when the relative speed between the two hands is 55 minutes, the actual distance travel is 60 minutes. And these are two concepts you should use. This is also very useful. First one obviously is 1 hour is 30 degrees and 55 minutes relative distance is equal to 60 actual. To use these two concepts to get the answer. If you these concepts are important in the clocks. If you understand these clocks, it becomes easier. Okay. So minute hand and the hour hand of the wall clock, the angle was 55 degrees. Okay, the minute hand and the hour hand of the wall clock was 55 degrees. So when they met, the minute hand and the hour hand met, for it was like this, like the minute hand is here, hour hand is here, 55 degree. After some time, the hour hand will go like that, minute hand will go like that, 55 degree. That's how it goes. So there will be a point out here where they'll meet. So when they meet 55 degree, the minute hand would have traveled 60 degree. When the relative speed is 55 degree, the minute hand must have moved 60 degree. Similarly out here, when the relative angle between them is 55, the minute hand must have moved 60 degree. So total minute hand has moved 120 degrees. Okay, remember 5 minutes is 30 degree. I mean 12 hours is 60, sorry, 1 hour is 360 degree. Okay, 1 hour. So 5 minutes is 30 degree. So 120 degree will be nothing but 20 minutes. D option is the answer. I'll repeat this again. When the relative angle between them has moved 55 degree, the minute hand will move 60 degree. Right. So when again that is when they meet. The relative angle traveled by them is 55 degree. So the actual angle traveled by the minute hand is 60 degree. Same way when the angle again becomes 55 degree, the actual angle trial by minute hand is 60 degree. So total minute hand is moved 120 degree. 30 degree is 5 minutes. So 120 degree will be 20 minutes. B option is the answer. I'll take more sums and drop. It'll be clearer when we take up some different questions and then try to solve. So right now I'll just keep, it's a good question. If you understand that it's a good question with good concepts, the whole idea behind it. But if you find it confusing right now, skip it. I'll come up with a clock concept maybe in some other sessions of Pathshala. Right now if you understand, great. Sequencing. Try this out. Normally these sums are tough, but sometimes you suddenly get a pattern and you can make out, oh, this should be the answer. So there are ways to solve this. I mean, suppose I'm just trying to tell you, if I'm not able to get the answer for this, how will I mark the answer? Say I don't want to solve this sum. Okay, I find it difficult because I don't know the pattern as such. How will I mark the answer? Okay, that is the whole idea behind this. Key is to break the numbers and then try to solve. So try it out. If you get the answer, put in the chat box. I'm giving you time to think so that it helps. Thinking habit helps. The more you can think and try to understand the sum, the better it is for you to understand the concepts or assimilate the concepts. Now, if you get the answer, solve. Anyway, it's not. So here, what I'll do is I'll look at the numerator separately and denominator separately. So first term, denominator is 2. If you look at it, I'll look at denominator separately, numerator separately. So find each one separate and then try to get the answer. So if you look at denominator, the first case denominator is 2. Second case denominator is 3. Yeah, good, Rajat. Third is 4. So 100 term, the denominator will be 101. So denominator is increasing by plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So first term is 2. 100 term will be 101. So I can clearly make out the answer will be B or D option. Okay, 101. Now let me look at numerator. Okay, numerator is 1, 5. It's always odd number. So I know that numerator has to be odd number. If 101 is denominator, numerator will be always odd. So which means I can eliminate B option. So answer will be D option. Okay, I can eliminate B option. Answer will be D option. So there could be some pattern like plus 4, plus 6, plus 8 and so on. That's what you're doing. So you can actually find out by using a concept of AP or n into n plus 1 upon 2. But if I want to simply, I have no time and at a time pressure I want to mark the answer. I see denominator is 101, 2 option. Numerator has to be odd. I can definitely eliminate B and C option. They cannot be the answer. So numerator odd upon odd. So I'll mark the answer as D option. Okay, way to solve is will be 1 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8. Okay. Yeah, plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. For the second term you're adding 4. For third term you're adding 6. So last will add plus 200. This is what the series is. Okay. Now sum of these terms plus 4 to 200 is nothing but first term plus last term divided by 2. That is the average arithmetic progression. I'm normally solving with average. Average into number of terms. Number of terms is 99. Okay, you can solve this and then try to get the answer. So I may be plus 1. I may be wrong in my calculation, but this is the approach that is to be solved. Plus 4 plus 6. So for second term you add plus 4, third term plus 6, 200, and then you can try to solve. Right? 202 into 99 plus 1. Solve this, will get the answer. So 9900 is plus 198, you will get 10098 plus 1, you will get 10099. Can solve, but if it doesn't click, sometimes in the exam it doesn't click. So if it doesn't click, how do you solve? GMAT beneficiaries of fresher in India. SPJN takes GMAT, MDI takes GMAT, and a few other colleges do take GMAT. So if you're applying there, you can, But GMAT is an expensive exam, so think before you just apply for these colleges. But yes, there are few colleges, recent colleges, which do accept GMAT in India. But ISB is obviously that, but ISB is for WorkX. But you can apply to YLP program out there. Okay, these are sums. Basically, people have sent me with doubts, etc. So I'm taking these sums and I'm looking at approaches. So these are doubt solved sums. I mean, it must be from mocks, from books, wherever. The key is not about getting the answer. The key is to try to get the answer in the best possible methods. So if you can get the answer in the best possible methods and create a habit of getting that methods, that should over a period of time help you to solve better. So idea basically in these sums is to try to get good methods and try to get the answer. If you can do that, it will help you a lot. All right. So methods is what is important. Yeah, do put feedback on this session in the chat box. I know if any changes, I can accordingly incorporate the whole changes in the set if I feel it's beneficial to you. And yeah, do attend. I mean, you need to be attending regularly. One-off session will not help you off because the methods have to be reinforced. So I'll be using the same methods in different kind of sums, and that should hopefully help. Okay, this is basically an approximation method that you can use, something called approximation. If you can approximate, that's the answer. Now, there's something that you should know. For example, root 4 I know is 2, but root 5 is approximately 2.2. Root 6 is approximately 2.4. Root 7 is approximately 2.6. Root 8 is approximately 2.8. And root 9 is approx. I'm just thinking approx. In this case, this is not useful, but generally this is useful. So root 10, if you look at it, we go to 3 point something. Okay, 3.2, 3.1, 3.2. Okay, root 10 because 9 to around 3.15 or something. I don't know exact, but I'm just saying just more than 3. I'm just putting more than 3. Approximately. Root 2, obviously you should know 1.414. You can just take 1.4 out here. And root 3 is 1.7. 1.732, 1.414. You should know these. And this is approximate. These are approximate. These are accurate values. Helps in calculating the values when you're taking approximation. Okay, how to solve this? First, I'll look at the option. Root 10 is what? Root 10, as I said, is 3.2 minus root 2 is 1.4 upon 2. Right? This becomes 1.8 upon 2, which is 0.9. But it's not 0.9 for sure, because root 2 itself is 1.4 and it will be bigger than that. So I can eliminate this option. Definitely. So 3 is not possible. These two options got. Right. Now let me approximate. Look at first option. Root 10 is 3.1 plus 1.4 upon 2. You can make out 4.5 upon 2. So 2.2 plus 2.25 plus around that. Now I have option 2 and 2.25. This is approximation technique. Now how do I get it? I'll solve this. I can't solve fully, but I can solve partly. See, root 2 plus root 2 square I'm taking. Because root 2 is 1.4. I'm taking one more term, 2 square. What is root 2 square? 2 plus 2. Root 4, which is 2. And I took 2 terms, I got 2 as the answer. If I take more terms, the answer will go above 2. So I can directly mark the answer as 1. 2 cannot be the answer. I just took 2 terms, root of 2 and 2 square. I got the answer as 2. So automatically if I take more terms, I'll get the answer more than 2. If I get the answer more than 2, so automatically second option not possible. So answer is first option. Approximation techniques. A lot of sums which I've seen in the exam where instead of solving the whole concept by putting equations, you can just approximate, you'll get the answer immediately because the options are designed like that. So in this, very frankly, I don't know how to solve this. There are a lot of sums which I don't know how to solve, but I can get the answer using option. That's what I do. So the way I go about approaching this is I look at the options. I see this is 0.9, this is 2, and this is 2.25. So from that, eliminate third option directly because root 2 itself is 1.4. I have 2.25 and 2. If I take two terms, I realize it becomes 2. So answer has to be more than 2. So answer is first option. Approximation techniques. You can get the answer quickly if you solve by approximation. That's a trick. Okay, let me take the next sum. Weber will try. I know this, I said earlier in the beginning that these concepts are a little on a tougher side. Not expecting you to understand immediately right now. But as and when we go forward, you'll be able to understand the approach. The idea is to learn the approach to help you implement the whole thing. So we'll try and get that done. Basic concept, maybe in some of the topics, but let's try to see. If I have enough people coming in, I will try to get those approaches. But let's start with just getting these things up. Okay, you can solve maybe by equation, but I'm trying to use the options here to get the answer. So key out here is maybe take the help of the options and try to figure out the answer. Shortlist options which could be possible, and from there use those options to get the answer. And shortlist the option that you feel is possible, and then if you know if it feels possible, then use those options and ensure that you get the answer somehow. Raghu's age was thrice the age of his son, n years ago. So n years ago, if you look at, it was 3:1 ratio. N years later, it is 2:1 ratio. Which means now the ratio will be somewhere between these two, between 3:1 and 2:1. Right? So I can eliminate B option, I can eliminate D option because this is 4.5:1, this is 4:1. I want somewhere between 3:1 and 2:1, which only A and C option gives you. Okay, so only A and C option gives you these. Now let's look at these two options and solve. So if I add one, I realize that if I add one and add one after 1 year, if I take 5 years, 2 years, add one, it becomes 6 and 3, 2:1, which is satisfies. But if I subtract 1 and subtract 1, I get 4:1. Doesn't satisfy. It should become 3:1. I look at C option. If I add 1 and add 1, it becomes 8 and 4, which is 2:1, satisfies. Going back, if I subtract 1 and subtract 1, I'll get 6:2, 3:1, satisfies. C option. So what I've done is I've used the option to get the answer. The key is to use the option. If you're able to use options effectively, a lot of them become simpler in the exam. So n years ago it was 3:1, n years later it is 2:1. Now it is somewhere between these two values. Sometimes you can directly eliminate 3 options, you get the answer directly. In this case, I know that 4:1 and 9:2 is not possible. These two options are gone. You're left with 5:2 and 7:3. So 5:2, 7:3, if you add 1 here, it doesn't get 2:1, but -1 doesn't become 3:1. So A option ruled out. But if I substitute C, +1 gives you 8:4, -1, 6:2 satisfies. So that will get the answer. Right? So learn to use options. The key skill in a CAT is to learn to, or in any aptitude exam, is to learn to use option effectively. If you want to be really fast. Look, understand, I'm just going. A 100 percentiler normally can solve all the questions in the examinations, whatever in a time frame given. But 99% I may only be able to solve 50% of the questions, 50, 55, around that questions, right? Now there is a huge difference between the two. And the difference is because of the methods. If you allow right methods, you can actually go very fast in the exam. And these methods are not very complicated. The methods are tough. Only thing you need to create a habit of using the methods. The moment you create a habit of using the methods, you automatically become faster. Okay, but a habit has to be created over time. It will take time, but now is the time to start developing the habit slowly, steadily. First of all, you aware of the methods, and once you create and know the methods, then you need to be able to look out for methods over a period of time. You get a habit, and that habit will help you in the examination. Right? That's what we do. So I will stop at the sums out here. I'll keep this video for tonight, but I'll be removing it tomorrow morning. I expect you all to participate in the session on a regular basis. We'll have it every Wednesday at the same time, 10:15. I expect you to participate in the session. It'll help you. I mean, if you are regular with the session, I'm sure it'll help you with regards to understanding the various approaches and methods. And these methods, if you keep on applying on a regular basis, you will be able to create a habit of applying the approaches, which will obviously help you to crack the exam. Right? If you have any other recommendation, like as Wevo mentioned, that maybe do some basic concepts or something on some particular topics, yeah, I'll try to implement it, but do mention in the chat box any feedback that you have regarding the whole session, right? So with this, we wind up today's session. We'll meet again in next week at the same time. I will take up a few more questions, a little bit different approaches, some of the same approaches, and see how to apply them into different kind of sums. But just to go back, just go about everything. So what I did in the questions today, okay, I use here I substituted values, simple values. Okay, whenever a variable. Here I use ratio method. Second, I'm just telling the methods that I. Here I do inequality. I put equal to value and try to solve. That's the inequality. Okay. Here I did cross multiplication. Just the cross multiplication. You can actually solve all these sums in the mind. Here I did pattern formation and eliminating the options. Here again I did approximation, and here again I eliminated the options. And then you substituted an option to get the answer. Okay. Yes, I think it's worthwhile to write the CAT. If you're asking me again about, yeah, it's worthwhile to write the CAT. You can contact me directly, WhatsApp me or something on that, on our numbers, and then maybe I can tell you about the whole thing. Or you can put in the comment section. Right? Fine. So we'll wind up here. Good night, and we'll again meet in the next class. Thank you.